Tutahu ukwaitsaho siempre tsamparaho para idankulota, para hita
When I think of San Francisco, I think of my dad. And when I think of my dad, I think of the city. The two are inseparable for me. I always thought it's so funny how even after living here his entire life, to this day, even just crossing the Bay Bridge or going down to Daly City, things stop making so much sense. My dad really captures how city-minded we are. Everything we want, need, and most of the times everything we dream of could be found right here. When I think of my dad, and I think of his childhood and his journey, it really starts to make sense why those of us with this intergenerational tie have such a connection to this place. My dad is from the southeast corner of the city, Bayview. My dad grew up right over here. Oakdale, San Bruno, Silver Avenue, Bayshore. My dad went to Pelton Junior High, which is now Thurgood Marshall High School. And if you ask the older generations, the ones who remember, they'll know what you're talking about. I think of my dad growing up at St. Elizabeth's in Portola. I think of my Auntie Conchita getting married there. I think of them watching their neighborhood, our neighborhoods, change, even when we didn't want them to. These places that disappeared, changed, were lost. And I think of all of the joy, the culture, all of these things that make the city what it is, make it such a hotspot for gentrification. It's because it's built in all of these memories, built in our communities. We hold memories that go beyond just us in our lifetimes. They've been passed down since forever. And when I really think of my dad's childhood, I think of the transition from his early years on our ancestral homelands to coming here to the city. I think of how inseparable it is for us to be both indigenous and to rep our city the way that we do. It is Ohlone land, and we're not Ohlone, but we do have roots and connections to the land here. The way my dad tells me stories of the landscape here, the hills, the muni lines, it's the same way that my grandma's grandma might have told her the stories of our ancestral land. Because even in this different place, even in this place that our ancestors probably never came to, we still continue these practices, hold these memories. I think of my dad street racing on Ocean Beach and our ancestors flying on proasiha, our canoes. I think of him watching the sunset in the sky as it dips into the same water he remembers from his childhood. My love for the city runs deep because my dad's love for it does. We love the city because it made us who we are and because we made it what it is. There's no other place like home for us. And that's why city kids are built so special. To feel these memories and this love that stretches back across generations, to hold them close as part of our story, of our family story, and to recognize that we're just a small piece of this land that has been here since time immemorial, of the Ohlone people who will continue to be here forever and ever and ever. But to know that for this brief moment, we're inseparable from it. It's part of what makes us so special. This love, the devotion, the memory, the honor, the legacy that we hold so dear to our hearts till the day we die. This is what makes us such a beautiful yet dying breed of people. When I think of myself, I think of this legacy. This responsibility that I have as a youth, as someone who reps the city, as an indigenous Chamorro person. We hold the responsibility we've had since the beginning of time to pass on these memories, these cultures to the next generation and to protect everything we can. The responsibility to know that this land our city is built on top of is sacred, to tend to and steward the land the best we can, to tend to each other and uplift one another. Because even though our city changes every day, we also have to remember that this place has changed so much more just since colonization. The legacy of violence to our Ohlone relatives and their ongoing erasure. It's also our responsibility to remember and hold on to the joy, the beauty, the elders who hold all of this knowledge, the names of this place, Yelamu, the rivers, the shell mounds, the valleys, the mountains. This land raised us, and just like how our parents and grandparents age, they transition from being our caregivers to us becoming their caregivers, and the same goes for the land. So for those of us who remember, for those of us whose communities have been impacted by colonization and gentrification, just know that no matter what they do, we're still here and we always will be here. The land will always remember us.